What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. We're back with rankings. Sorry I'm kind of late a little bit, but here we are. Better late than never. Rankings haven't really changed much. Realistically, we only had like 2 impactful events, and one of them wasn't really even a BOA. So kind of nothing really happened this week. This is going to be the most inconsequential week until the end. But now, this week, we have BOA St. Louis. The next week, I think we have BOA Indy, then we have San Antonio, then we have Grand Nats. It's a stacked year from now on. So with that being said, let's get to the list. You see it right here. We have some risers, we have some fallers, we have some stationary bands. But let's get in to the honorable mentions. Not a lot of change here. James F. Byrnes, American Fork, Castle, Dobyns Bennett, Coppell. The only change is Coppell. I have them dropping out. They lost to Wakeland. They're now 1-3 in all 4 BOA runs. I just can't have them in the rankings, especially when, they did drop one to Waxahachie and Prosper in prelims of the first event that they did at Dallas 1. And then now, Wakeland beats them twice. I just can't have them in the rankings still. And they could easily bounce back. Like, we saw this exact same thing play out last year, and they bounced back. I would not be surprised if they do. I just can't have them in right now. 25-21. Wakeland is in the rankings. Got second, beat Coppell. Looked great. Won 3A. They're going to be dangerous going through the rest of the season. No BOA comps for these bands. And then we get to the Texas Merchant Classic. I don't really know what to think of it. My personal philosophy, I don't factor that in as much as I do for BOA, because we've seen huge discrepancies based on how you score. For example, Texas State. Rouse has lost to Cedar Park consistently at Texas State. However, in BOAs the past few years, Rouse has been above Cedar Park. Personally, I value BOA scoring more. It relies more on, GE, and then it has uniform and organized scoring more than I do think Texas State does, so I do kind of go off of that. And it's also easier to compare Indiana bands to Texas bands because we do get to see that that matchup at Grand Nats, and we don't get to see that in state scoring because obviously Texas bands aren't going to compete against Indiana bands at state. So personally, I lean on BOA scoring. So for Leander, I'm not going to have them dropping as much, even though they did lose to who'd they lose to? They lost to McNeil, and they lost to one other. Westwood? They lost to Westwood. Oh, I have it on the screen. What am I talking about? They lost to Westwood in prelims and then McNeil in both prelims and finals. I don't have McNeil on here. McNeil, we've seen them in comp. We've seen them compared to these other bands. And personally, I think Leander's work at Austin earns them this spot still. Even though they did lose to McNeil head-to-head in both of their runs, it's not BOA scoring. Leander did well at BOA, so they're going to be on this list still. Next up, 20 through 16. Seven Lakes doesn't move. Well, they do move above Leander because personally I think Seven Lakes' work does warrant them above Leander, even with Leander's great performance at Austin. Westlake doesn't move. Dripping Springs goes down. And then Moe Gene Johnson, huge riser this week. They beat Ronald Reagan in finals, they beat Rouse in finals, and then they beat Dripping Springs in both runs. They are going to go above Dripping Springs as a tiebreaker, because if you remember, at their BOA event, they went 1-1 and were really close in prelims and then finals. It was within like a 0.2 difference in both runs. M&G is going to get the tiebreaker here. They beat them in both runs. They beat Rouse and Reagan. Now, personally, this is not going to be enough to move them above Rouse and Reagan on this list. I think they are pretty close with Rouse, but with Reagan, Reagan beat them twice at the BOA comp. As I said, I value the BOA comp's success above because that's easier to measure. With state, you see area scoring go all over the place. You see some Texas State scoring go all over the place. So, like last year, we saw Vandegrift in BOA get fifth place in San Antonio. Realistically, I think they probably should have placed third, but they placed sixth place or fifth place in San Antonio finals, third place in prelims. They ended up tying for first place at Texas State. Hebron got the tiebreaker, but they tied for first place. I'm almost positive that's what happened. I could be wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. Either way, that's off the top of my head. I value the BOA scoring more. It's just more consistent personally. So I am going to have Reagan above and then Rouse. I don't really know how to differentiate. I mean, spoiler alert, you've already seen the list. Rouse is going to be number 15. They got fourth and fifth. I mean, Reagan finished above them both runs, and then, M&G passed them up. I am still going to have them above M&G. Rouse looked great at Austin. They looked great at this Texas Marching Classic run, but realistically, I don't know. It's hard to place. William Mason's not going to move. Reagan is going to fall. This is another big faller. They're going to fall below the Woodlands. They're going to fall below Vista Ridge, who did also perform at Texas Marching Classic, Cedar Park, and then I think they fall below Marcus as well. I kind of thought that the Reagan losing music to M&G and being kind of close in finals was more of like a fluky, they had a bad performance in finals compared to prelims where they won by like 3 points. And also, Reagan always starts slow, so I kind of thought that would be one of those things. And so I thought they were going to be able to kind of outshine like the Woodlands and Vista Ridge down the season. I'm kind of not of that opinion anymore. I think personally Reagan losing to M&G, I'm concerned. And also, I mean, I had them above Rouse or Vista Ridge, and they went 0-2. So obviously Vista's going to have to pass them as a tiebreaker. We haven't seen them head-to-head at a BOA yet. And also, Vista Ridge looked better, just being realistic. So that's kind of how I see that. Vista Ridge also passes Cedar Park, who they lost to in BOA Austin. Just because, I mean, I know I was saying, like, I value BOA more. Cedar Park always starts fast. Like, I mean, I know this is kind of like we're going based off the previous years. Cedar Park always starts fast and then kind of slows down compared to Vista Ridge, who does not. They always build onto their performances and really develop, and then late season is where you see their best performances. So I am going to give them the edge. We're going to get in to number 10 through number 6. Woodlands and Marcus both move up. Marcus had their comp. They won BOA North Texas. Looked great and kind of smoked the competition. And the competition was good. Wakeland and Coppell, both in the top 30 for me. And they made it look easy. Good stuff. It's what we expected, but also it's what they had to do. Tarpon, Blue Springs, Broken Arrow, all in here. All look good. Didn't have a comp, but haven't seen Tarpon yet still. Tarpon is probably the only one on this list, I think, that I haven't seen yet. So, BOA Florida is coming up. I am hyped to see them. And then, yeah, rest of this. Vandy won the Texas Marching Classic. We knew they were going to. It's Vandy. They look clean. They have millions of people on the field. And they somehow make it all look clean, uniform. Everybody's buying in. It's truly a beautiful thing to see a Vandy show. But yeah, that's going to be the list. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Quick video. Hopefully I should have predictions out as a YouTube short. I might do St. Louis predictions, even though, I mean, I know I've already seen M&G's performance at St. Louis live. Like, it happened about 15 minutes before I recorded this. So they look great, but I'm gonna have predictions out probably for St. Louis and for the rest of the events. Maybe as a separate short, but I haven't decided yet. But that's gonna be it for me. And yeah.